here we are, Lowrance active target. We're gonna give you the installation, a quick installation, because it's very easy. And then I'm gonna walk you through a couple different things in case you're not seeing what you're supposed to see. It's pretty self-explanatory and pretty simple. I'm gonna show you a couple things to look for, a little troubleshooting. We'll do a little troubleshooting on your active target to make sure that it works properly. But you know, first of all, this is the box that it came in. I've already installed it, but I've installed everything kind of outside and exposed so you can see it. But I'm gonna just show you this, the packaging real quick, because it's cool. You get that little deal, and it's all sustainable. Look at this, it's sustainable. It's all cardboard, not a lot of plastic. You know, you get the little installation manual, but all this stuff is made out of recycled stuff. So that's very cool. I'm glad to see that kind of stuff. Even the little bags are plastic, or they're not plastic, they're paper, so that's cool. But now, you don't care about that. You wanna get over here to, here it is, this is the active target, and it's already running and ticking like it's supposed to, because I can hear it. It's going tick, 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 tick. But this is the most ludicrous setup I've ever seen on a bass boat. This is my bass boat for this past year. I did not run Lowrance active target for the 2021 Bassmaster Elite Series season. I had the Garmin live scope on there, had the Mega 360, and then I had the traditional 2D sonar that's built into the Ultrax. I didn't have the Ghost. I had the Ghost trolling motor last year. I'm gonna run the Ghost trolling motor next year. Just like mixing things up. Both very good trolling motors. But there are a few advantages for the Ghost, but we're not talking about the Ghost. We're talking about active target today. So I'm gonna have Mr. Cameraman jump up in the boat, and then I'll show you some things from a different angle to show you how easy this installation is. All right, so all you have to do for this installation is mount it to your trolling motor. You know, that's where I would start, mounting it there. But technically, what I would do first before you do anything is connect your power, which I'll show you in my rod locker. You want to connect to the power, because all you're gonna have to do is connect to the power, which is the one plug. There's only 3 plugs. The second plug is gonna be connecting your Ethernet to your HDS Live unit, or your HDS Carbon, or your, I think it's an Elite units. I don't use those. I use a HDS Live. That's what I recommend, best picture and all that. You connect your Ethernet to there, then you connect your transducer and mount it on there. But I would connect everything first, make sure everything works properly, and make sure your lights are blinking like they're supposed to be. Now let me show you this. If you get a good close-up view of this right here, on the little box, this is the active target box. You're gonna be wanting to mount this inside of like a rod locker or somewhere that is kind of safe. I've got this temporarily mounted up here because I'm not gonna run this full time, but you can see your sonar light should be green, steady. Your Ethernet light should be green and blinking, which means there's signal going between here and your unit, and then your power light is going to be steady green when it starts up, and then once it starts working properly, it's going to go back and forth between this orange light here and the green light. That's how you know this is working properly once you've hooked it all up. So let's go back to the unit. One more thing on the unit itself. You want to make sure that it's fully updated. You want to have the latest update on this unit so that you can acknowledge that. That's kind of a number one. But I'm going to get up in the boat with you, and I'm going to show you how I connected it to the power. All right, so I've got an HDS Live 12 up front and a Live 12 in the back. They are Ethernetted together. They're also NEMA connected together, but the Ethernet is what they're going to be sharing certain signals with. And I've got I've got a lot of stuff in here, but I'll move this around because this is where my Garmin not active target, the Garmin live scope black box is, as you can see down in there. That is where I would put the active target box if I didn't have this. I would be putting it in the rod locker. It's safe, it's secure. All the wires are run, under. My power goes through here, through this little box, through this little hole, up, and that's where I have my power for my Lowrance unit. It's running up there to the same power source. Basscat does an amazing job. They run their power wires straight from the battery bus bar, which means it's grounded. All of the wires are properly grounded in a Basscat. They're grounded through the motor, if you didn't know. So that helps clean up your signal a little bit, but it also helps give you good clean power like it's supposed to be. But those direct wires are run straight up to under the console, and they're just for your electronics. And they're also run up to the front. But I tap into this electronics feed right here because it's closer, and it's easy just to run that right through there. So that's where my power is running. That's where these two power cables are running. This is what's going to that active target box. You want to make sure you have adequate size wire. You don't want to go like real chintzy, like 18 wire. You know, probably 12 gauge is good. 10 is even better, but 12 I'd say would be a minimum. Then your fuse is going to be in here. When you get your active target, the fuse is not properly installed, so you want to just make sure that's installed once you get everything hooked up. That could be one troubleshooting instance there. But then I have all my connections, and then I have them covered up just to make sure that they stay waterproof. But this is a temporary deal because I'm just testing the active target to see if I want to run it on my boat for next year. So now I'll get up here and I'll show you the unit and kind of what I'm going to be doing there. All right, so you got your power connected, you got your good power connected, and you got that plug in right there on your box. Then you've got your Ethernet, which is this yellow port. You've got that cord that goes into the back of your live unit or whatever Lowrance that's compatible. And then you got your sonar, which is the one that I've got thread up here and now is on the front of the trolling motor. I like the way that this is mounted. It's kind of in front, gives you a little bit clearer picture. It's similar to the way that the Garmin perspective mount is for the live scope. You could definitely mount this in a similar fashion with that, so that way you can twist this around and then give it what they call scout mode, which is the same as Garmin's perspective mode. I'm not as much of a fan of that for the way I fish, to be honest with you. I've seen it, I've played around with it, haven't really fished with it a whole lot. That's really what I rely on the 360 for, is to give me a lay of the land, if you will. But as far as the active target goes, we're gonna get this bad boy tested here soon and give you a good comparison between the two. I may have to do some finagling around and make sure everything's, the path is clean to be able to see, a good true test between the two. And I'm gonna finagle around with the settings and make sure all of that is straight. But okay, let's say you've got all this stuff connected, all your lights are connected, and this is not what you see. You're not seeing any of this to where your unit is not acknowledging this active target box. I'm going to show you a couple different things to try. First of all, if you have the proper software on here, you're going to be able to see, you should be able to see this active target button right here on the pages screen. If you don't see that, active target, then you're just going to go right here to your system. Then you're going to scroll down here to advanced. Then you're going to go to features. And then on your features, you'll see where it says active target right here. If this is off, you want to make sure that is turned on. You turn that active target on, and then it should acknowledge and see this. If you do that and you don't see that as well, there's one other thing you can try. You can do what is called a soft reset. And when you power off, you'll have your unit powered off. So you'll hit your power off. I'm not going to do a soft reset again. So I'll just explain to you how you do it. You just hold the power button and the pages button, these two buttons right here. You're going to hold, when the unit is off, you're going to hold these two buttons down and you're going to hear a beep. When you hear the beep, you're going to take your finger off of the power button and keep it held down on the pages button until you hear another beep. It'll be 3 or 4 seconds. You'll hear another beep beep, and you take your finger off. That does a soft reset. Resets a lot of your settings. You're going to have to redo a lot of the stuff on your unit, but it really cleans that up. It really cleans that up and makes it to where the software doesn't have a bunch of stuff that it's looking through, like the catch or whatever they call it. I'm not a computer geek. I just try to figure out how to work this stuff so I can show y'all, basically. But that's what you do. And then this is the screen that you should see to start off with. You're going to probably want to start off with your settings on noise reject on off, and then the color palette 2 is a good place to start with. I'm going to get to playing around with it. That's what the people from Lowrance told me to check out, because I asked them. I was like, well, you know, where's the good starting point? And they said noise reject, turn that off, and then the forward range and the down range. I'll get that stuff figured out and see how that looks and see how it works. And I get to play with all that stuff here coming up soon. But that's the installation. That's pretty much it. Installation is very easy, very straightforward. You want to mount this in that rod locker or someplace that's safe, not out here. This is obviously just temporary, and it's a whole lot easier to show you kind of how things are. But this is the ridiculousness of looking at 360 and Lake Master, and then there's the Garmin right there. My Bass Cat next year is going to be a little bit different, so we'll have to give you an update later on that. But that's the active target install. Very simple, very easy. I mean that's very self-explanatory the way that's mounted right there. And you know, as you're running your cords, you know, these are very sensitive, and you know that transducer is very expensive. You do not want to cause any wear or pinch that you know, that cord right there on any of these cords. So that's why I have the extra space there around the little helper. And then coming up through here, I like to run the wire up through here, connect it, you know, right next to on the 360. Then it's going to come down and go right through there, and that just makes it a lot cleaner, and there's nothing to pinch. I don't like anything running along here. There's a lot of pinch points down here, not as much up here and coming that way. You'll stay a lot cleaner and safer and not pinch any of those wires. That's one other little tip there. So that's basically the installation, and you know, the few little troubleshooting things to try on your Lowrance. If you have any other questions, hit me down there in the comments. I'll do my best to answer anything that you've got, and be sure to stay tuned because we're going to get out on the water, check this thing out. We're going to compare these two bad boys and see which one has a better picture. I'm gonna give you a little hint. Both pretty good. I think they're both going to be good. That's what I think. I know what this does. This is good. I think this is going to be pretty good too. So we'll see. Any questions? Let me know. Thanks for watching.